Morning, everyone. Research is showing that never before have we lived in such a connected world, and never before have we been as lonely as we are today. Technology is doing amazing things for helping us stay connected with friends and family around the world, but technology is also one of the reasons why we are so disconnected from the actual people who are in front of us. And the research says that there's two reasons for this. One is there's been a shift in how we've understood friend. Previously, we used to have friends in real life who then became friends on various social media platforms. Now, instead of friends, we have followers who like our posts. The other thing that's happening is that we do friendship on our own terms. We decide when or if or how to respond to a message, and we can use an emoji to apparently sum up everything that needs to be said without actually saying anything at all. Technology connects us, but our connectedness has left us more disconnected than any of us are willing to admit. Listen to what it says in 1 John 4, verse 9. It says, "This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him." God came to be present to us in a very real, practical, tangible way. God showed up for us. God stepped into human history and into humanity. And that's what we believe about Jesus. That Jesus isn't just some guy that God sent to teach us to be good people. Jesus is God, come to be present to the world to show us who God is and what God's love looks like. God didn't just send a voice note from heaven through the prophets or an email through the Bible. God did those things, yes, and God came to be present to us so that we can fully experience life with God. God has shown up for us. And in coming to us and in being present to us in this way, God asks us to show up for one another, to be present to one another in the same practical, tangible ways. Sometimes it can feel like God is really, really far away. And so we look for God. We look for God in the miraculous signs. We look for God in signs and wonders. Sometimes we even want writing in the sky. We want fire and wind and earthquakes. But very often, God shows up to us in another person. A friend who encourages us, someone who listens to us in the seemingly small, random ways in which we be community. God comes to us. It also says this in that same passage, 1 John 4. It says, "No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and God's love is made complete in us." God may sometimes feel far away, but God's people are very near. We get to be the visible picture of our invisible God. Now, sometimes this is hard for us because we don't like the idea that we depend on others. We don't like to need others. That's why we changed friends into followers. Rather than saying we need people, we like to live life on our own terms. But we were made to be connected. We were made to be connected to God. And as uncomfortable as it may make us feel, we were made to be connected, interdependent with other people because we are part of a whole. The Bible is full of pictures of how we are one part of something bigger. We are one part of a body. We are one brick in a building. We are one branch on a vine. And branches that refuse to remain connected die. Coals that leave the fire go out. So as inconvenient and complicated as it may be to do life in community, it's what we were made for. Because we are more than just ourselves. We are part of something so much bigger than just our own story. Our lives, in their very nature, are bound up in each other's. And as messy and crowded, as tangled and as inconvenient as that may be, it is how we were made. So the invitation to us is to notice the ways in which God shows up to us in present, real, visible, tangible ways. And to notice the ways in which God is asking us to show up to each other. So put down the device, take out the earpods, and notice. Who needs to be encouraged? Who needs an affirming word? Who needs an actual person in front of them today? God has shown up to you. Let us show up to one another. Amen.